Okay, so here we are, episode 4 of Space Invaders. Okay, so just a reminder, the last episode we got our sprite sheet in and we showed a small portion of it. Oh. I should maybe turn that off. Sorry about that. And we showed a small portion of it scaled up, which is you can't see my mouse over it. I should really sort that out. Okay. All right. So we have a Space Invaders title up there. Okay. So what we're going to do this episode, we're going to extend upon our. If I just close this. Extend upon our sprite class, which is here, just to remind you about that. Okay, and because what we want to do, we want to be able to choose a portion of our sprite sheet and show that sprite from the sprite sheet scaled and rotated and stuff. It's all fairly easy-ish. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle if you haven't done much programming, but just bear with me and I'll try and explain things as I go along. Okay, so let's see. Well, first things, let's just see what we need. Currently, what we're drawing a small portion of our of the sprite sheet, and we're positioning it onto the screen. So we have we're going and I think this is let's have a look. So I do this underneath. So we do sprite batch and then draw. Then open the brackets. It shows us what we have. And if I step through them, so the first one, which I thought was destination, and this is the source. So this is where we're starting at 100, 100. So it's 100 across, 100 down, and the width is 245 and 178, which is our Space Invaders logo. And we are drawing it on the screen. Oh no, that's the destination. That's where we're drawing it on the screen. And and our source on the sprite sheet is 168 across, 0 down, and it's 245 across for the width and 178 for the height. And we're doing the color white, so we don't want any tint on it. We want it to be as per the original. Okay, what I would do, I could make that green. Okay, so we just make that green. And I'll just comment this out. Comment out is 2 slashes like that. And so we can build it with no errors. And we will show you the green tint. There, it's come out green. Shock horror. Okay, so you can basically pick whatever color you want. Green is very invaderish. Very invaderish. Okay, so we make that back to white. And not wheat. Or white. Okay. All right. So we want, just to uncomment that, we want a little bit more detail. So, okay. So we're going to step through here. And see, this is what we really want. Has it got scaling? No, the next one. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so we've got our texture along here, our position, which is a vector 2, which I will show you, basically an x and y coordinate, and we have a source rectangle from our texture, which is easy enough to find. We've got our color tint, and then we go on to things a little bit different. Our first one is rotation, which is a float. Do you remember floats are fractional or I can't think of the word actually, but because you get the whole number and a minor portion of that number, like 1.5, 1.25. Okay, now this is a rotation. Now it becomes a little bit, it's not like 1 to 360. I think it might be in radians, but we'll find out. whatever it is, we'll just put a number in and we'll see. We have another vector 2, which is basically xy, and that's our origin. Okay, and I need to, oh right, this is an offset from your source rectangle, I think. So this is, oh no, this is the bit where it will choose where it starts to do the rotation. Normally you'd have that on Invader, you'd have that in the center of the graphic. So if the Invader was 32 by 32 pixels, so it's 32 pixels across by 32 pixels down, you would have this as 1616. That one. The origin, so that will be in the middle of the Invader and then it will rotate round. Sometimes you want it at the bottom or at the top or in the corner, but yeah, we'll show this when we get to it. And okay, we're moving on to scale, which is another float, which of course 1 to 1 would be 1.0 f. Remember the f for the float. Okay, we got our sprite effect. This is if we want to flip it and things like that, but we'll have that as no effect. And our layer depth, we're just going to put an arbitrary 1 in there as our layer. We don't really need to, I'll just say put a 1 in for now. Okay, so we're just going to just type this in. So it's our test sprite dot sprite texture. Okay, and we want a new position. Okay, so we're going to, I'm just going to put position. I'm going to do it in capitals. Position, and if I spelled that right, I can't read it very well. And then we've got our source rect, so I'm going to do source rect, and we're going to go color, which we can do, which will be, I'm doing it like this so you can see it, what we need when we develop this on when we add these variables into our sprite class. Okay, so this is a peculiar way of doing it, but it's a good reminder. So we got rotation and origin. Okay, and I've got a plus there, and we got scale, and we'll have the effect. We're not going to put that in there, we're going to have none because we don't want to flip it horizontally or vertically, and we're going to keep this as 1.0. okay, so that's that. We have errors and they're highlighted, so it does not exist. So okay, so I'm going to make that position, we'll make it capitals and the same as this one. In fact, I'm not going to do it source rect, I'm going to do it sprite rect. Makes a bit more sense. Okay, and we'll have that one as uppercase as well. Okay, so I'm going to just copy that. I'm going to go to our sprite.cs and I'm going to shove that in as a reference, and I will put it here. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to do minor changes to our sprite. Position. Now, if we have a look, if I go to here, and we then go on to position, can we, let's just, sorry, if I just bring this up again, so we can just see what that is. If I go down to 6, okay, so we're looking position vector 2. Okay, all right, okay. Lovely. So we go back to sprite.cs, and what we're going to do, we're going to create a private, and we're going to, oh, I can't, it's so cold, you have to excuse my typing. It's coming up about -6 outside. There's no snow, but it's really bitterly cold. Okay, so I do a vector, okay, vector 2, not coming up. Alright, so we have that one, and it is, alright, so I'm going to go show potential fixes, and vector type using this one. Alright, lovely. So that will put that in up here, okay, using the framework, and we have our we have our using, so it's using the Microsoft XNA framework to get us our vector 2. Lovely, so we will call that we call it S position. No, I've got it M. I'll keep it, sorry, M position. I'm so indecisive today, it's embarrassing. Okay, so that's that done. And we will remove these. Okay, there's method to my madness. So I've deleted the 2 ints for X and Y, and we're on M position. Okay, so first of all, you see, there's errors here. Well, we can get our X from M position, which is our new vector 2. Here we go, and here are our members, X and Y. So, okay, so it's that, and that. Okay, so if we just have a look at this, go to definition. Okay, you see they're floats. How annoying is that? Okay, so I'm going to just edit this slightly, and we will put these as floats. And that one is a float. Okay. And then we will put in the Y. And that is that done. So we can get our X and Y, and they unfortunately are floats, or fortunately. So it's a little bit better, so we can actually go beyond pixel perfect for positioning. It's very good when you're doing smooth motion, and yeah, it's when you're actually moving less than a pixel. It sounds a little bit weird, but it makes things overall look quite smooth. Alright then. So that's our position. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a property, and we're going to call it a vector 2 for the type, and we're going to call it position. Okay, and we just do get, and I'm just going to do this and set and this. Okay, this is a little bit different from these. It's basically this, so it's basically, it means you don't have to type everything in. It still defaults to what it would be. Okay, so we want our rectangle, which we will have as well, and that'll be a rectangle, and we will call that sprite a rectangle. Okay, and we will call that okay, no, that's wrong. Big boo. Oh, you can do that, but we want this to use the private variable. This will create another variable just called position. I do apologize, so let's just quickly type that in. I knew there was some reason to just do it properly. So we do the get first, which is a return, and that'll be in position. Okay, and our set, which will be a equals value. So it's m position equals value. Remember that sets, there is a it's part of a keyword, and it's basically passed the value in automatically for you, so you can grab it when you're doing maybe other checks. Okay, so we then want to make a private up here for our rectangle, and that will be m sprite rectangle. Lovely. Okay, so you guess what we're going to put in here. We do get set, and it's that we get return, because we always return because you're getting something, m sprite rectangle. Okay, and our set, which we're setting, so let's just quickly edit this as I'm talking to you. So our m sprite rectangle equals value. Value. It's cold. Alright, so okay, so we've got our position, our sprite rectangle. We want rotation, which is a float. Okay, so we will move that down here. It becomes quite easy, doesn't it? Float, rotation, and we'll have a get and set. Okay, so if I just do the framework, we will go up here, and actually we'll keep these together. Okay, and then we'll do private float m rotation. Okay, and in here we will do return because it's a get, and we will return m rotation. Okay, and we want m rotation equals value because it's a set, and we put our semicolons in because it's the end of a function. Okay, so that is our first three, and we have origin, which is a vector 2. So I'm going to put that, keep things nice and neat, so put them together. That's a vector 2. Ignore the case because that sorts it out for you. Lovely. And we will call that m origin. And okay, so we'll go with the vector 2. Lovely. So we'll call that public vector 2 origin. And usual thing, get. So we will return, and we will put m origin. Lovely. And semicolon, because it's a comment, and then we do a set. Probably easier just to m origin equals value, and semicolon for the end of the comment. And lovely, it's that done. So looking across, we have scale, which is a float. So I'm going to shove that down here. So it's a public float scale, and we are going to, you notice that I call these things the same as what I put in here. I will change the case of this. It's uppercase, okay, and that's good. This is the last one. So in here we want to get and set, but we'll create our private, which we'll put with the rotation one. So we'll do private float m scale. Lovely. So okay, so in here get, which returns a M scale. Lovely, and put semicolon, and our set, which is M scale equals value, and semicolon for the end. Alright, so we've added our scale, rotation, sprite, rectangle, origin, position, and we've changed our references for its X and Y to the position vector 2, which consists of floats. So we changed our int32 to floats. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so I'm just going to, we're going to have to change this a little bit and extend on that. But what I will do is a little single step forward. So it's our test sprite. So I am going to put this in here before, and so we've got our test sprite dot, because we're referencing a member of the class. And I'll do it on all the missing ones. That's origin, and then finally scale. We will get this, cut it out, and we'll go back to our sprite invaders.cs, and in here we'll put that in. Okay, tidy it up. We've got one error, sprite rectangle. So okay, so I'll have a look at that. Let's see what comes up. So we got dot sprite. Oh, spelt it wrong. Foolish me. So let's it's cold. Sprite rectangle. Lovely. Save that, and if we go to here, all looking good. No red lines, so that's lovely. So right then, so where we have, we've got our, where we generate our sprite is here, right. So this is our test sprite. So I'm going to put a comment above it. Test sprite. Okay. It's going to be an invader. Lovely. Alright. So if I go to this. Okay. So we have all of this. So what we're going to do is extend upon our constructor. Okay. So what we need to add the extra bits. So what I'm going to go, just going to sort this out so it stores the position. Now you're going to have to trust me on this. So if I do m position equals, and it's new vector 2 because it's a vector 2, and I open the brackets because we're doing another constructor, and I'm going to pass in px and py. And look at that, and it's done. And I will delete these, and it's that sorted. So now this is, I'm just going to quickly try and explain this. P position is a vector 2, but we need to create a new vector 2, and we need it to be the x and y that we're passing in to our constructor. So we got new. This is our new word, new. So we need equals new vector 2. Because it's a constructor, we can, with a constructor is already there, which passes the x and y. We can just pass that straight in. So this is a constructor for vector 2, and we're creating a new one of our m position. Okay. So we are going to. We want, so if that's our position, we want our source rect. So I'm going to go rectangle, and I call it P sprite rect. Okay, and rectangle. That's just text. All right, I've got there. Okay, and So we got our sprite reference, we want origin, scale. So we do our origin next, so we want a vector 2, and we are going to call that p origin. Lovely. Our scale will be a float, and that will be p scale. So right, so that's our so we've got scale, rotation, sprite, origin, position. I think that's just that covers the whole lot actually. Excellent. So there's some additions. So if we need to store these in our member functions of the class. So we want our sprite. So if I do m sprite rectangle equals p sprite rectangle. Okay. So it's that one done, and we want m origin equals p origin. Okay, so we're just storing everything from the constructor, and then we have p scale, m scale there equals p scale. Lovely, there. So that's everything all set up. Brilliant. We do need to okay, so if I get rid of that, as we've changed this, I'm just going to do this comment, which is 3 forward slashes, so it's got everything there. Now the basic constructor passing in so it's sprite source rect source rect origin scale and rotation. Okay, all right. So that's all that done. Okay, so let's just move on to Space Invaders.cs. So we need to expand upon this one. So if I do this, so if I put a comma in, we see the next one is our new rectangle. So I need to put a temporary rectangle in this. So I'm just going to do new rectangle, and we're going to use a constructor from it. If we look down at the second one, it's just x, y, width and height. Which is exactly what we need. Now I want the first Space Invader. So let's look at our, I've already opened up paint.net. So let's, excuse me. So here it is. And you have to ignore the fact that it is a funny color in that. I want this Space Invader here. So I am going to work out the position, which I'm looking at the bottom of the screen, which is, we have a look, 147 by the looks of it, and then make it 146,226. Lovely. And if I just do, no. Let's just do this so we can do a rect so we can just see the size of it. Okay, so looking at the size, okay, so it's got that in the bottom left, a little bit of the screen, the rectory size, I'm going to say is 26 by 17, but I'm going to make that 18, 26 by 18. All right. So it's 146,255. So let's go 146,255, and we've got 26 by 18. So it's 26 width, 18 height. Lovely. And all right, our next one, which will be origin. So we have a new vector 2, and we were going to make that. We want that in the middle of the Space Invaders. So we're going to go 13 9. Now, I'm hoping you'll be able to work that out. We might have it totally wrong, but we won't be rotating yet. I might need to do -9, I'm not sure. But we'll sort all that out when we see the rotation, it's not right. And our scale will be 1. Well, actually, we'll make it 3.0 F. Okay, so that in, and we'll close that. And that looks good. So that's our new sprite. So we'll just go through this again. We've got a new sprite, which is our constructor for our test sprite. And we're doing it at 100, 1000. Let's make that 100, 100 for X, Y. It's our texture that we're going to be using. And we have a new rectangle for the source in the texture, 146, 255, width of 26, 18. We've got an origin of 13 and 9, and we have a scale of 3 and 0. Now I haven't put the rotation in, have I? No, we'll extend upon that in a little while. No, we'll do that now, sorry. So we'll quickly go back and we will put rotation in. I knew this one I missed. So float P rotation. Alright, and then we'll go here and we call it M rotation equals P rotation. Lovely. Okay, and we'll go back to here and we will put a new float in and we'll call it 0.0 F. So that is 0, but in float. Lovely. So looking good. So if I run this and then run this, we should get our sprite. But I'm going to, I don't want it laying over the top of the other one. So I'm going to make that 500 width by 100. And hopefully we've skipped over that. And we should be able to see a white sprite of an invader quite big next to the Space Invaders logo. Okay, we will run this and find out. Hopefully no errors. Looks good. Oh, there it is. Position's a little bit off there. There's something there, but it's the font. Let's see what I've done wrong. Okay, so this has got, looks like below. So, okay, so let's have a look. So our position is 225 down and 146 across. I think that's what I put in. No, 2. Oh, look at the right. Let's look at the right one, Neil. Look at the right one. We're up here. So it's 246 across and 225, not 255. A little error there. Just to test, and we run that again. And we have our invaders. It's nice and big. We've scaled it up 3 times. Excellent, my work here is done. Okay, I am just going to cut this really short, I think. We're going to do it in simple stages, and you can just watch and record a bit, because we've done quite a lot. Okay, so we've extended upon our sprite class. Excuse me. And what we've done is we've removed our ints for our position and replaced that with a vector 2. Trust me, the fact that it's just a structure, it's very simple, and it has an x and y, and they are floats. Very, very simple. And we have another vector 2, which is the origin. And it's the origin within the sprite that it uses for scaling. Not scaling, rotation, sorry, for rotating round. We haven't quite got to that yet. Our next thing we've added is a rectangle for our sprite reference within our sprite sheet. We're going to have to extend upon this because we want our sprite to be a bit of an anim. So that's going to be our next. It's not going to get complicated, but you've got to, if you follow it parrot fashion, I think you'll begin to understand as I progress here. Little steps towards our main goal of writing Space Invaders. Okay, so we've just got a rectangle, and that is our sprite reference. It's a sprite rectangle. It's a small little portion within the sprite sheet, which is what we want to display on the screen. We have our rotation value, which is a float. It's a 1 point something number. We just happen to have it at 0.0 because we don't want no rotation. Our float for scale, on the other hand, is 3.0, so we've made it 3 times bigger. Okay, and this is the bottom one we didn't add, it's already there. That's our reference to our sprite texture, which is our sprite sheet. Okay, so after that we've extended upon our constructor, and we've effectively added a rectangle for our sprite source, a vector 2 for our origin, a float for a scale, and a float for our rectangle. So if I then go to Sprite Invaders, where we originally did our initialization, our new sprite, which is in our low content, I've extended upon the constructor, so it's our test sprite equals new sprite, open brackets, and our constructor is width and height, our sprite texture, and the reference rectangle within that texture for our sprite, the origin, which I'm assuming I've done halfway for the center of the sprite. Hopefully it's top left, but I think it might be bottom left, in which case we might have to do a -9, but we'll sort that out. Our scale next, which is 3.0, and our rotation, which we've got at 0. We then went down where it draws it, so we're technically drawing 2 sprites, and the first sprite is manually done, which is this portion which shows our logo for Space Invaders, and our second draw, which is our Invader sprite, which is taking all its information, apart from a few things at the end, from our sprite class, which is excellent. So things are coming on. So we're developing our sprite class, and we're starting to do a few more draws. It's slow and sure is the best way for doing this. You might think, come on Neil, let's get things moving around the screen. That's going to be the next episode, yay! A little bit more involved, the next one, because we're going to extend our sprite class. So we'll have an anim class, and this will be an animation class, which will be an animating sprite, which will enable us to effectively do the 2 frames we will need for our sprite. Lovely. We'll make it very simple. It won't be anything special because you can just extend upon it. As you can see, we just refactored our class with reference to the retrieval of our X and Y position as we go along. So this is a sure and steady way of developing. Develop and test, and then develop a little bit more and test. And I normally wouldn't be this slow, but this really helps. Okay, so I'll just run it again, and you'll see we haven't done much, but we have done a lot. We've progressed, and I don't want to make it too confusing. So this is our sprite. We have our Space Invaders up. I think it's good. Yeah, we're using a little bit more of X and A, just a tiny weedy little bit, and next we'll progress on to animating our sprite, and we will then make an Invader sprite. Don't get too confused, and it will show one of the very sexy features of C#, which I will introduce to you on a very, very, very gentle level. Okay guys, So I hope you've enjoyed this short but sweet episode 4. We'll progress slowly. It's a slow and sure. We've done one sprite and it's Invaders and it's great. And our next one we will animate that sprite, and and we will develop our sprite system, so it'll be quite cool. You'll see how cool it is when we progress to player logic. We expand upon our invaders, because you have more than one type of invaders. I think there's 2 or 3 types. And then we need a mothership, and we need bullets, a score system, all using sprites. It's going to be very sexy. Alright, like I say, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like, comment. I'd love to hear your comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. There's more to come. Happy programming.